This is for you if you are a designer who has hesitated to specify steam because it feels complicated. Here's how Mr. Steam explains it. A steam shower works on the same logic as a hot water heater. Water in, hot steam out. The specification, variables, space dimensions, wall materials, electrical, plumbing, finishes are ones that you are already managing every day. Mr. Steam has built a tool called the Pathway to Steam that walks you through every decision, and their virtual spa tool turns those answers into a complete spec at list price ready to present to your client or share with your contractor. You don't even need an account. Go to LuAnnNigara.com/Mr. Steam to learn more. That's LuAnnNigara.com/Mr. Steam. Welcome to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company WindowWorks from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. Before we get into today's episode, I want to let you know that we're doing something a little different over the next several months. We're bringing back the most downloaded, the most talked about episodes from the last 9 years of A Well-Designed Business. These are the episodes that built businesses, that sparked aha moments, that turned you into an action taker. Now, if you're wondering why we're revisiting these episodes and what's changing with the show overall, well, I walk you through the full vision in our April 25th, 2025 episode titled The Big Shift, What's Changing on a Well-Designed Business and Why. That episode is linked for you in the show notes. Now, a quick heads up. These episodes are airing as they originally did. That means the music might sound familiar or it might be vintage. That means the event dates will definitely be out of date that I talk about. And it also means that any offers that are mentioned may or may not be valid still. But the insights, still golden. So whether it's your first time hearing this episode or your fifth time hearing it, there's something in this conversation for you right now in this season of your business. So here's the show. I hope you enjoy it. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. Today, I am absolutely thrilled to welcome Campbell Minister to the podcast. Campbell and I have been in contact since the very first days of the podcast. She reached out and called me as she was just launching her design business and found the podcast in those first couple of months. And since that time, I have literally been able to watch her grow, scale, learn, and create a true well-designed business. Campbell is a real #smart lady who takes everything in, listens to all of the expert advice, and has a knack for determining just how to use that advice to navigate and to work into her own business. This is something that's not always easy to do. Sometimes we hear the lessons 20 times from 20 different people and we try 20 different ways. Sometimes we hear 20 times from 20 people and we keep making our own mistakes and we don't try any of the things. So it's a very nice, fun, satisfying combination when you can hear a lesson and you can either duplicate it or you can work to make it your own. Like any business owner, Campbell has made her own mistakes and has learned the lessons the hard way, right? We all do. But what I love about Campbell is every time she does, she goes back to those lessons. She analyzes what went wrong, she learns, she adjusts, and she puts those lessons back into her business. She has created excellent processes, defined her strengths, outsourced when she needs to, and she has leapt over every hurdle she has faced. I've watched her do it, and it's been my great joy and pleasure. Today, she's here to share her journey about what she has learned about building relationships, working with friends, collaborating and referring to other designers, and taking responsibility when you've made the mistake. Let's hear from Campbell about what she has learned on her entrepreneurial journey. Hey, Campbell, thanks so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Hi, LuAnn. So happy to be here.
This is a full circle moment. I think for me, maybe for you too. I'm not sure.
100%. Yes.
It's funny because I know you know the story. I think I've told it to you before, but I can remember it. You correct me, but I think it's in the first 6 months of me podcasting. I feel like it's that very first spring, probably 3 months even maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember sitting at my desk at WindowWorks. At this point, I'm full-time WindowWorks and podcasting as a side hustle, only for a couple of months. And Kim turns around from her desk and looks at me and she's like, "There's somebody on the phone that wants to talk to you." And I'm like, "Okay, this happens every day, all day. Like, what's the big deal?" She's like, "No, she listens to the podcast." And I'm like, "Wait, somebody listens to the podcast? Like, are you kidding me?"
I don't know if I really knew. I mean, I knew it, but not real. That's awesome.
Yeah. I was just like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "What's her name?" She's like, "Her name is Kim." But you know Kim. No, you know Kim really well now, right? So here's Kim. She goes, "Her name is Campbell Minister. I already looked her up online, blah, blah, blah."
She's an actual person.
She's a lunatic, right? And so I just remember getting on the phone with you, Campbell. And it's so funny because I say this a lot, that I would never want people to think that if they've had a conversation with me and I haven't reported that I thought from the beginning how smart they were, that I didn't think that they were smart.
Mm-hmm.
But, smart is my love language, right? Like, I just love smart people, love to talk to smart people. I love all of that. And there are just some people that the beginning conversation with them, I'm just like, "Ooh, something going on here." I remember that about you. And you were very professional, very friendly, but very professional and very like, "I found your podcast. I'm just starting my business." And you're telling me your business anniversary is about now when we're recording, right?
No, it is. That's why it is full circle for me, because I realized doing this intake, I was like, "Oh my God." That's big.
So you literally, I started the podcast 4 months before, 5 months, 4 months before you started your business.
Yeah.
So we literally started at the same time. And I remember you saying, I don't even know if you had a client at that point, probably maybe you're doing, how you, in the beginning, you do your friend, your sister, your brother, that type of a thing. But I remember you saying to me, "I just wanted to call and tell you that I'm local to you in New Jersey, that I'm listening to the show. And as I'm beginning my business, it's really making me think." And I was just like, "That's insane. That is amazing and insane." And when I think, Campbell, now, the way your business has blossomed, has grown, like you have 6 or 7 employees now. I know that you are probably one of the top producers of designer business for WindowWorks at this point. And this part I wanted to save to tell you now.
Oh.
We do team meetings every Monday. I'm still in the team meetings.
Oh, that's great.
We do the autopsy of projects. And while I'm not, I did one project with you before I stepped out of doing window treatments. While I've not been your point contact all these years, and Kim has, just from the after talk about a project with you, or the during talk about a project with you, between Kim and Billy and Catherine, it is so clear to me that you are on top of your business, head and shoulders above many of the designers that we work with. And that's the truth.
Thanks. You got to get in the dirt, right? You got to be there. You got to, and the vendor relationship, right? I mean, clearly that phone call was because I have to give it to credit to my mom, right? Little rules like, you always do that business before noon on Friday because after noon, no one cares anymore and everyone's checked out, right? Or these days, I feel like I'm going to say that, like, stop sending text messages, like,
Oh,
make the phone call,
yes.
say hello, solve the problem, but also in this case, like, meet the person. Let them know you exist, start the relationship. And I truly feel like you guys care about me and my business, and I care about you and your business. So,
Yes.
it's mutual, but I appreciate that. And I wouldn't be here, honestly, if it weren't for the lessons on the podcast that you have helped me grow with. So it's a love fest. We're loving on each other, but it's true. I mean,
Yeah.
it's you've been a great resource, and I think I mentioned this, but many of the coaches I've hired and the professionals who have expertise in their area have come from the podcast,
Hmm. Hmm.
and kudos to you to saying, I'm going to partner with these professionals who can offer
Yeah.
my audience what they need, because
Hmm.
we all need to support and help. You can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
So,
That's a different business model of this podcast than a lot of podcasts across all
right.
genres, right? A lot of podcasts across all genres. It's a very common business model for the podcast to be the feeder for that podcaster's services, period. But I knew from the beginning that I didn't have all the skills and expertise across. I think it maybe came from having been part of running a business for 35 years, that I knew clearly where my lanes were and my gaps were. And I was like, if I'm really going to help interior designers run their business more profitably, I'm going to need a little help.
Right.
I'm going to need a little Michelle
Yeah.
Williams to do finance, a little Peter Lang to do, you know what I mean? Yeah, Nancy Ganscover, get in the weeds on that process. And you know what I mean? So it is a different business model, but I have personally enjoyed it so much from that regard. And I do know that designers like yourself have benefited from the other experts having their platform here,
Right.
you know?
And look, so just to call a spade. So I started by going to a residential interior, design program that was certificate based. And then a client was building a house, right? Still one of my clients and best friends today, which might have been why I called you actually. But that was my school of hard knocks. I had to stop school. I have 3 young kids. So kind of what you're saying is how I've always felt. I'm leaning on the experts and the professionals, the carpenter, the cabinet maker, the wallpaper hanger, the lighting specialist, to help me have all those skills. And over the 8 years, they've helped me build that, right? But what you offer is the business side, and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
those things that, as you've said, even if you were formally trained, and went to a program, no one really teaches you that. So,
right.
again, kudos to you for finding that gap in the market and helping designers like me.
Yeah, no, the thing is that I also want to make sure that is so clear is having the front row seat to your business and really understanding how you are coming to your projects so organized and so intentional and relationship driven, to your point, with each of your trades. It's the differentiator is that, Campbell, you do the things that you learn on the show. When you hit a speed bump in your business, you go back and you calibrate and you say, okay, this is how Sandra Funk fixed this, or this is how Jenny
Mhm.
Slingler fixed it, or this is how Erica Ward fixed this. I'm going to take that lesson, personalize it, make it work for my business. But many, many people, unfortunately,
Mhm.
listen and don't act, and then say, well, no one taught me really one-on-one personally, so I can't do it.
Right.
and
Yeah.
and you do the work. You are, like, I call you and Sarah Brennan come to mind as the poster children, because you start from no business, no design background, and two of the most organized design professionals that I've come across in 8 years, quite frankly.
Oh, thank you. Well, and I mean, part of that is building a team too, right? Because and taking the lessons and saying, no, this is what we're doing, right? Like,
Mhm.
we are Sandra Funk Standard members as well. We got to give
Yep,
a shout out to her.
that's right.
And we've tweaked it. We
Yep.
continually make it and personalize it to ourselves, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel. But I do have to say, okay, teammates, like, that happens, right? I'm seeing right now, honestly, it's getting harder, right? It's the systems have to be there because designer A can't run off and do it one way and designer B and then me. It's confusing.
Right.
So it's also just, it's the team, it's reiterating that for them. I feel like I'm spending, 60% of my time managing the team,
Yep.
which is crazy, but
Yeah.
but it's
Crazy.
it
Yeah.
is. It's so different. But I have to say, I feel like bringing the background from, working in corporate America for
Yes.
5 years, being a teacher, like understanding all of those things that happened in a business, and a school system, even though it was a little different, have been helpful, and have led
Yes.
me, in my opinion, to be, excited about leading a team because of the personal development you're also helping with other people. That's important to me too.
Yes.
So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you have talk about your team a little bit now. You've got a team of 6 women, I believe,
Yeah.
all
So
of them mothers. I mean, this is
most mothers,
someday, probably almost every day of the week, somebody's kid needs something that they can't come to work for.
oh,
Like, that's a heck of a lot of mothers there.
100%. I mean, I almost feel like blessed that it's a lot of moms. Sometimes it's just funny, right? It's like, it's sick, he's this, I'm late, but the flexibility. I mean, I think the core
Yes.
value of flexibility, I think COVID, the pandemic, we were primed for that. We were, I actually had a VA in Pennsylvania already set up, and then a procurement person in Los Angeles, right? And then she worked for my accountant based in Chicago. So when the pandemic hit, it was like nothing. Nothing
You were right
happened.
there.
So
Yeah.
we just took off at that point. So then
Wow.
enter, more boots on the ground support. So we've got 4 women here local. One is running like operations, dealing with all the post order support, on site with contractors and trades, scheduling all the appointments, a mother, 3 other designers, all mothers. I have 2 secret sauce I do occasionally hire. Do you remember Taylor and Yashley?
Oh,
Oh
sure,
yeah.
sure. Do not let us
They
design for you.
they have been another podcast find. So, you know, 5 years now. 5 years they have. I was pregnant with my
Wow.
3rd kid in a parking garage in DC, and I could see, I just had this vision. I was like, I want this to be big, and I can't do this alone. Like, who am I calling, right? And that's what I mean. The podcast, it's like, you vetted, you trust, I'll give them a call. Obviously, we have to see if we
Yeah,
vibe. But yeah, they're still in my life when I need it.
that's awesome.
It's amazing. Yeah. So
Sure. And, do you remember I met them because I was measuring, that was when I was still doing, Window Works full time and on the side, the podcast. I met them because we had a designer, last name's going to escape me, Jennifer,
okay.
can picture her face, who had a project out at the
Yep.
Hamptons. And I had done 1 or 2 projects for Jennifer at that point, but not like you guys, where we were like 10 years or whatever in, like we are
Right.
now at this point, 8 years in. So 1 or 2 projects, and I get out to the Hamptons, and there was, I think it was Taylor
Hmm.
that met me out there, and I'm starting to ask her questions, and all like it was funny because she knew, but she didn't know everything,
Right.
right? Because she was hired by Jen to go spend 6 hours in the car to meet the window treatment person for an hour and a half to take the
Talk
measurements.
about
Like,
a smart lady. She's like,
right? Like, what's the better use of her
yeah,
time as the principal
that's
designer?
right.
Like 8 hours for me to get measurements or for her to pay somebody to do it, right? So after a few minutes, and you know me, I'm like a dog with a bone. After a few minutes and a couple of questions, I finally went, I'm not getting this. I'm like, and I just literally like, I'm not
Who
getting
are
this.
you? What are
And
you
she's,
doing here?
yeah. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you seem to know about the project, but you don't know everything about the project. Like, am I supposed to ask you questions? I'm like, what am I doing?
Mhm.
She's like, oh, actually, I have this business. I was like, well, you got to tell me about that business,
Right.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
And that's how she came
They're
on the
amazing.
show.
They're talk
Yeah.
about professional, do have that amazing interior design background. Like, they've blossomed, and they're consistent, they're reliable, and
Yeah.
now they've got this Long Island, Taylor's in Long Island. So it it's helpful,
Oh, she moves
she
out. She
moved
moved
to
out
Long
there.
Island. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. So
nice.
anyway, I'll
Nice.
have to connect you with them again.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So here's the thing. Thinking back, right? Like you come out, you're starting this business, you've got some of your Eric Award transferable skills from being in corporate, from being a teacher.
Right.
Sounds like your mom is a good person in your ear and has some
Absolutely.
great lessons, right? So speed bumps. Like,
Mm,
what was like, I heard that on the show 15,000 times and still made that mistake. Like, what were,
mhm.
you know what I'm saying? The moments where you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, let me try and save you from this one, new
Yeah.
listener
I
to the
mean,
show.
if I had to cut another sofa to fit up a set of stairs, and I think I feel like someone else said that on your show, but we've got a sofa, a bed, another one. It happens. And you know what? I did it, right? The second time someone else on my team did it.
On your
The third time someone
oh,
else on my team did it.
cute.
And it's
Oh,
like,
that's
but you
painful.
know what? Here's the big lesson. Own your mistake, right?
Yeah,
Own
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
mistake, be honest, make the phone call, don't send them a
Yeah.
text message. Like,
Oh,
do the research and trust me, like one of my team members, she calls me a bully sometimes with her. She's like, "Don't let Campbell bully you." But I am like, "Hey, come back to me with the information. Like, come to
yeah.
me with the problem, but not just the problem. What was your solution? How did you
Right,
solve it? And now communicate that to us, right?" And so I can
right.
go to the client and say, "Hey, client, we messed up. And here's what we're doing to fix it. And I'm so sorry." I mean, it's a business, you gotta,
Yes.
so yeah, owning your mistakes and being honest always solves it. I don't want to put my head on my pillow at night with that on my brain and in
Right.
my body. Like I will have stress and anxiety,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
To that end, I'll bet that you probably, knowing you, look, you're as kind as the day is long, but you are direct and you
ish.
don't shy away. No, but you don't. I mean, I've never
No.
found you to be even remotely like, "Wait, what, Campbell? You said what? How?" Never. But to your point, you never shy away from, "This is kinda tough, but we're gonna have a little chat about this." Like, you will do that conversation all day long,
Yep.
and, of course, that's how I roll, but I believe that was in you. Probably sounds like your mom taught that to you, different things, right?
Absolutely. So I come from a family also of lawyers, right? So we've got my
Oh, well, there
dad.
you go.
My dad's a lawyer. He's a public speaker. My sister's a lawyer. Two brother-in-laws are lawyers. I mean,
Okay,
so
yeah,
so
that's
actually
same.
to that point, right? There's that. I mean, I was not able to sit at the dinner table if I couldn't be like, "Well, I disagree and here's why." I mean, I
And you have to come up with a "here's why" for
yeah.
a table full of
Oh,
lawyers,
yeah,
right?
have a reason because everyone will fight you on the merit and tell you and it drives my husband bananas. Like, he's like, "Just say you're wrong. Don't tell me why the clarification of how you were right in some way." Anyway, but so there's that, right? But the book Difficult Conversations, and I think I linked to
Mm,
this, love that book. It
mm,
so I did do a stint doing leadership development for a
mm.
nonprofit in Pittsburgh. It was
Oh,
called Public Allies, and we would have people sign up for a year of service, right? So it was actually an AmeriCorps program. And
oh,
we would talk a lot about all the icky stuff, right? Like eh, gender, race, socioeconomics. We were getting these 18-year-olds into nonprofits, and they had to have these difficult conversations all day long. So we trained them with that book in mind.
oh,
So,
interesting.
having that as a resource and knowing, like, I think you said this at some point too. Like, it's kind of like negotiating, right? It's like
Right.
it's not who's right or wrong. It's like who's bringing their perspective and that lens and what's their lens for the situation. And there's a
Mhm.
third story, you know, there's your story, there's my version, and there's a third version.
There's always the third story.
So I geek out on that a little bit, and that's been helpful because there's always those conversations weekly. I had a call
Yeah.
this morning with my closet vendor, and we sent them a very lengthy request that they wanted to be a little more clear and buttoned up. And it kind of set them, into this defensive mode. And I was like, what is happening? And then we sorted through it, but I had to make the phone call because I value the relationship, and I want them to be on my team. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So to that end, knowing that, have being willing to be upfront and have the details out on the table, right? I gotta imagine, and I've never asked you about this in person. I've got to imagine you've got a pretty good process for setting expectations with clients in the beginning, right? Like you being a student of the podcast, if by no other way you learned that every project is going to have problems. Every project is going to have mistakes. And yeah, it really does stink that this is the third time, hopefully not the same client, but the third time our company has made this mistake, but it's the first time for each person along.
Right.
But like setting the expectations for clients that things will go wrong. How do you convey that, Campbell? And what is your advice to designers that, at the beginning are less seasoned and more afraid to just say, this is the truth of it. Like things are going to go wrong,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I wish I could go back in time and come out with that confidence to
Mm,
let the clients know that you are the expert, you've seen it, you know it. That's why they're hiring you. I mean, part of that conversation has to happen in that initial meeting. And
right.
if a client is turned off by my direct nature, then we're probably not going to get along in the long run. And I will
Hmm.
say it took me 8 years to turn away a client. Great project, but it just happened a month ago. And I was shaking, just so everyone knows. Like it's not like it's easy, right?
Yes,
But
right.
my contract is 20 pages. It's been edited twice. One lawyer that I had found here, Jamie, right? Jamie
Oh,
Lieberman,
Jamie
and
Lieberman.
then
Yep.
someone else down the road because I think she went back into corporate or something.
Yep.
That's the conversation. It starts early. I send those contracts out very early. I have that conversation very early. I think people don't want you to waste their time. They're
Mm,
hiring you as a service. You bring value. You are not a commodity. You aren't selling from Wayfair. If you are, maybe there's a place for Wayfair in the budget. Maybe, but run it through your business. Don't show them all that. Have
right,
that
right,
conversations early at least and be like, look, I'll order from Wayfair if it helps you, right? If it helps your budget and we're looking at the overall scheme, but I own that process. Here's how we do it. And if we aren't vibing, like there are many other designers that you can work with, and
right.
here's their names also.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah, I'm a
all
big fan
good.
of that, having the
Yeah,
names.
it's
Yeah.
all good. Like I really believe in energy. I want us to all vibe for years, right? I'm helping build a new house now in Glen Ridge. Also was doing that on my first job 8 years ago, but we like each other. We have a sense of humor. There is no conflict on the nitty-gritty stuff, but you have to get that stuff out of the way early.
Yeah.
If you don't, what is it, LuAnn? If you do the easy stuff,
Yeah, like Lee Cockrell told us,
right?
right? If you only do the easy things, everything gets harder, and when you do the harder things, everything else gets easier.
Right. And every day there's
Yeah.
hard things. Which
Yes.
is
Yeah.
exhausting. But I still love it. I mean, I think it's crazy, right? I feel like I'm crazy every day. I'm like, here we go. I'm ready to face the day. And then I'm just like beat down, but then I get back up, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Um, so have
One of the
those,
things
have
I'm
those
curious.
conversations early.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the things I'm curious about is you're saying how that first new build that you got 8 years ago ended up being a really good friend of
Yeah.
yours. Did she end up being a good friend or she was a good friend? I wasn't clear on the
So
clarification.
we were close through preschool age children, and then our relationship blossomed and has grown. Her husband is, an entrepreneur. Actually, they both are. I mean, they have multiple family businesses. They have supported me in so many ways I can't even explain. I think I went and took a small business class at William Patterson University that they put me in touch with. I've done their condo in Miami. I mean, but they have my back. It's crazy. So we were friends. It was a good relationship because it started as friends, but then it really is this symbiotic, entrepreneurial
Okay.
journey that I'm just trying to catch up to them, frankly. I mean, they're way way past. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So you were acquainted, which is a lot how the first projects come along, right? Is they're acquainted. How and look, listen, maybe you were dealing with grown, human adults and they sound like they're entrepreneurial and so they probably never tried to overstep or infringe, but I think that's also another stick point is that when you do continue to do big work for people that also become friends is to keep it in the boundaries of I will drop everything and go pick up your kid at school if you have to stay 25 seconds more at work, but, like, I'm also not gonna order your tile if you don't give me the check. Like like you have to keep it separate, right?
Again, back to, I feel like there were so many of my mom's friends who were realtors who did a great job of balancing that.
Oh, so you
So
were modeled
I
by your
was just
mom.
watching, right? I was like, huh,
Yes.
okay, they're best friends. Her daughter's my best friend, but she also sold like 4 of their houses. Like, and
Yeah.
then later on, I'd be like, how does that work? Is that good? You're good there? And like, yes, the answer is yes. I mean, obviously there's always things, but I would say where people may shy away from working with their friends, I have 2 to 3 clients who are best friends. And not only that, I mean, because our relationship is so strong, they genuinely refer me to other people who
Yes.
then are not necessarily a friend, right? It's much more professional, but the trust is there.
Yes.
There's no
But you're not
question.
altering your process for your best
I am
friends.
not.
They are like
No.
they have to do the same
Yep.
process. There's no, "Hey, just tell me on the text in the morning that to order the stuff, and I'll order it for you, and I'll catch you up on
Don't
invoices."
get me wrong. We text sometimes with those two people. But if it's going to be an order, it always goes back into process. It always goes back into email. It runs through my team. There's
Mhm.
a fee. There's a proposal. We do studio designer. Everything is very formalized. No, I don't break them. I
Yeah.
think that honestly, they respect our friendship more because I don't treat them like a friend in that way. If
Yeah.
they wouldn't want to work with me if I did.
You see, and that is a great lesson for somebody listening to actually hear, right? You are able to keep the respect, keep the friendship, still separate and go for mimosas on Sunday. But when it's business, because the thing is, I think in respecting your own business and the business boundaries, you're respecting their major investment in your business, right, Campbell? It's not like, hey, you're putting $500,000 out to design and decorate this house, but I'm going to go loosey goosey with
Yeah.
it,
No,
right?
there's clear, and also there's those lines of like, sometimes I'll be like, you know what, I got it. I'm going to order that. And I'm like, great, that's awesome. It's all good, right? It's just, again,
Right.
open, honest communication, respecting me, my value. I respect them. It's all mutual. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So, what are some of the other big lessons that come to mind that have really, in your mind, contributed to? Look, I know you're gonna say you're still working, you're still tweaking, you're still getting
always
better and better
until
each day.
forever.
Yes,
Oh, so okay, here's
yes,
another big one. I have a communications background in school. So PR, that kind of stuff's always fascinated me, right? And let's be real, like I was an Instagram baby designer, right? That also timed itself nicely
right at the same
at the
time,
same
yeah.
time. There's a lot of people on TikTok. That's not for me. I feel like a dinosaur now, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
So Wall Street Journal article, right? We just had a Wall Street Journal article published last month
Mhm.
with a client in
Nice.
town. Yeah, you have to check it out. It's on a historic home in Montclair, New Jersey. And I think that it was just using, again, what skills are you bringing from the past, the PR background kind of communications? I made that article happen, right? So I went out, I had a relationship with a client. I later learned she was an editor at the Wall Street Journal. I was like,
Whoa!
okay. So but I didn't ever focus on that, right? You have to focus on the work. If your work is not good, no one's going to hire you. Like, I don't care, smoke and mirrors, TikTok, whatever, fine. If you don't have good quality work, you're not going to get a call, right?
Right, right.
So focus on her job. Then later, I'm walking in town at this pharmacy in Montclair, and I see a picture of the house I'm working on in the pharmacy window. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is a story, right? So I called this woman. I was like, look, I have this crazy idea for this story. I think this needs to be written. And, great for her. She's like, I can't write that because we know each other, but I'll pass her name on. And if anyone's interested, I'm sure they'll reach out. And they did, right?
Wow.
But, we all as designers, we spend so much money on our photographs, which is so important. Like, so write that down, professional photos. Um, we spend money on PR agencies, all those things. This relationship and just nurturing the relationship and also tooting your own horn and having
Mhm.
chutzpah, right? To just be like,
Yeah.
someone needs to write this. I mean, that was a great feeling. I was so excited because I was like, wow, I did that, like that's crazy. So I'm still
Yeah.
feeling that way, but yeah, that
Yeah.
was that was pretty amazing too.
And what was it? You saw that it was a historical home, so you created a hook in
Correct.
that? Like, tell me. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like, because the mansion section in the Wall Street Journal is very much into that. So if you research this article, it'll speak to the previous owners of the home, how my clients and I and this amazing contractor in town helped kind of restore it. They had beautiful architectural plans as well. So, and a fabulous cabinet maker. So like it was the one, right? This house was the one. But weaving the story together, pitching that story, handing it to that journalist on a silver platter and be like, this is the story. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
so you
yeah.
really just made it easy for them,
Yeah.
and it was compelling. So there's a little of that. What else?
And by that reminds me of the 3 or 4 times that we've had Amy Fleury on the podcast
Hmm.
over the years, right? The
Hmm.
author of Recipe for Press, and she comes from an editorial background, and she said, know what your hook is
Right.
and know the right outlet for it. So for you, when you're like the mansion section in the Wall Street Journal,
Yep.
like, hello,
Yeah.
that's that synergy. It's like having that research and that understanding of where does it belong? Like that doesn't belong in Southern
Right.
homes, right? Like that
Yeah.
belongs there, right?
Absolutely. I'm feeling like I probably heard that now that you're saying it, and
Yeah.
that was embedded in my
Well, but you
subconscious.
also come from the communications background,
Yeah.
like you said.
Yeah.
So you might not have never have heard it, but I'm just saying, we'll link in the show notes the 2 or 3 times, 4 times, whatever it is that Amy Fleury's been here because it takes your concept that you just described and breaks it down step by step,
Right.
right?
Right.
So we're inferring a lot here because we both know the process is what I'm
Absolutely.
saying. Yeah.
And it's exhausting,
So,
the process, right? I mean, that
yeah,
took
and
like
it's
months. It took a year really to get that all pulled together.
wow, see, that's a
Yeah.
good thing to
You've got to
recall.
be
Uh,
patient with that. And then it was like, it's going to be out next week. No, it's going to be out next month. Like push, push, push. I mean,
Oh, oh,
yeah.
oh, oh, okay. And just as the last point on that, did you actually deliver finished like content? You didn't like, here's hook, here's outline. You wrote the article. They could have edited, they could have changed, but you're like, here's the finish. You could go to print with this if you chose
So
to.
I would backtrack and say, no, I had a phone call with the journalist and gave her the story. And she really went out and wove the web of all of
Gotcha.
the family members and like did her due diligence.
Wow.
So she,
You got her
yeah, she
excited
was
about it.
excited about it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because you don't do all that just because, oh, somebody in New Jersey has a good idea.
Right. And actually, to that point, so Sandra and I are working on an article right now, because
Oh, for the Wall Street Journal.
for no, just to go, I'm some
Oh,
other
for a different.
magazine.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
that kind of thing. She has the foresight to see because we worked on a project together.
Yeah.
She left, right? She moved. She was like,
To
she
Nashville.
handed me this client, another very like humbling moment, right? Where
I know. I remember
right?
when she said, "I'm gonna refer my Jersey clients to
I
Campbell."
was like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm done. I made it, kind of thing. That was
You
such a
understand that. That
compliment.
was another
Yeah.
factor for me. I'm just
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, all the designers in Jersey and you're picking
Yeah.
Campbell." I'm like, "That's loud and
It
clear
was
message."
huge. It was huge. I mean,
Yeah.
and to that point, it's relationships. It's just
Yeah.
and genuine care and trust of other designers. I mean, I am so lucky. There's so many designers. We have an Instagram group. I've got a little text
Oh,
thread group.
Montclair's got so many
Yeah,
of
and
you, right?
it's expanded. It's not even Montclair. It's beyond. I mean, we all
Yeah.
look out for each other. I feel like that feels really good now too.
Mm.
It's just so much collaboration and trust. Resources we're sharing. Like I feel like that's the happy place. When you can lean on those
You know
designers.
what's so funny is because just off the top of my head, we didn't discuss this before, but off the top of my head, I'm thinking Blanche
Yep,
Garcia,
she's on.
Keisha
Yep,
Franklin, Tammy
yep.
Bolden, Sandra was there. Um, if I keep going, probably more than I
Gail
do.
Davis, I love.
Gail did well. She's South Orange, right? But these others are literally based in
Oh
Montclair,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
like
That's a good
in
point.
that city. But you're right. Now you want to spread it out another like 10-mile
Yep.
radius. Yes, Gail Davis, and of course, you know, now my brain's going to fry
No,
on them,
yeah,
right? But
Brigida,
like literally,
Noelle, like,
yes, yes.
yes,
Noel,
Matt
oh, she's
Diane
Glenridge,
Smith.
but Glenridge
Yes,
is sort of
we're
Montclair.
all like
Like,
here. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's bonkers. And the thing is, what's so interesting is I have watched you guys collaborate as a group. And of course, you allude to, and I've mentioned the tight groups that you have that I'm not part of. But I mean, when you're in person, you all know each other. And you pass your clients back and forth, you pass your trades back and forth, right?
Yes,
I
we do.
mean,
Yeah,
it's such a testament to understanding the core belief that interior design is a personalized,
yeah,
high level luxury service. And just because you and Keisha and Blanche, for example, all can deliver a luxury room, you're all going to do it through your lens. And I don't mean the lens of your design, I mean the lens of your process, of your
right.
personality, of your team. And what's one fit for somebody is not a fit for somebody else. You're not competition for each other,
Absolutely. And I always
right?
felt that way from the beginning, and I just feel there's some designers that don't want to share, and that's okay.
Right.
Like it's not my place to judge that. I mean, another piece of this though is the architects that I have tried to cultivate relationships with. So I would say as, a piece of like at least my shared experience advice to other designers listening, just really going out for coffee with architects. Don't have an agenda. Like
Mm,
don't go in with a trying to get business,
right.
just have a drink, have a coffee, have a lunch. It's just, it does wonders, right? It's just very old, basic stuff.
So now I hear the person saying in their head, okay, but how do I invite that stranger architect and not say like what is it is do you usually do a warm intro, like you find out, like say if Marilyn is also in Montclair, I'm thinking, if Marilyn knows an architect and you're just like, Marilyn, would you send an email introducing me to this architect? See, now I can see just saying, hey, just love to grab coffee and maybe see what kind of projects you are specializing in, if I can refer you. Is like, how do you
Absolutely.
do it,
Yeah, I
Campbell?
think that
Is that
what you just said is how it happens. I mean, I had again moved to town starting my business. A architect in town who was from Montclair, she had moved back here starting her business. Literally just let's get coffee. So that was easy, right?
yeah.
Because we were both starting.
Yeah, 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 both
But
starting out.
fast forward 8 years later, she connected me to another architect peer of hers. So
Yeah,
how
yeah,
cool
yeah,
is
yeah,
that, right? Like
yeah, yeah,
meet this person and we'll all hang out. I think if it's genuine, people are gonna know, right?
yeah,
they can read through all the, I won't curse, but you
yeah.
know what I mean. So if people can see like you're just saying I love your work, I love your aesthetic, would love to grab coffee with you. Period. I mean,
Yeah,
there can't be an agenda. Everyone can figure that out.
right, right.
Email,
And then
Instagram, phone call, like I
oh,
called
right,
you,
right.
phone
Yep.
call. I mean, it's a little bold, but maybe appropriate sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing too is I've never known George. Did you know George through personal contacts, or you became aware of George to the Rescue show and were like, wait, this guy's in Montclair. Like, let me introduce her, you make a
Yeah,
connection. Because I know you're great friends now. I saw you both in Las
that's
Vegas
right.
this past winter,
Davis, yep.
pulling into KBIS together, standing at my panel discussion, which was so fun to look out the audience. I'm like, oh, it's Campbell and George.
I was
So,
like,
but I
hi.
never, I know, right? And I know you're like you do the George to the Rescue projects with him, and I know you're good friends, but I don't know it's chicken or the egg there too.
I mean, fangirl for sure, right? I was
Okay.
definitely, and my little kids, and I would sit on the sofa when we had TV before. Now it's all streaming, right? Now I feel really old, really old. So we would tape it, we would sit down and watch it, and I was again just kind of what's the word, crafty. I would pause the show and I would get a screenshot of the back of the t-shirts of all the tradespeople that were working on these shows, and I
Oh
would
my
write it down
gosh.
and then I would research them and then I would call those people. So I
Oh,
started knowing paper hangers and
so
painters and
smart.
just being like, all right, well, if this guy trusts these people, I can at least call them and make my own judgment, right?
Wow.
I would watch Open House TV, NYC, same thing, right? Which actually George kind of came from that. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but so that was that. That was separate track, and then I met his wife, right?
Ah.
So therein lies the kind of relationship building, and it was genuine. We were just interested in each other as as peers, as like moms, as community members. But I have to give it to Zoe, she's a realtor in town, Zoe Oliphant. She worked for Ellie Morose at some point in time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
George's wife,
Yes.
Zoe,
Yes. At one
worked
point,
for
had a
Ellie?
hot second. She's
Bonkers.
got, so much talent. So that was great. Again, look at all these webs, right? I know you know Ellie. You've had her on the show. She did a rescue. So it was really Zoe
Yes.
who was like, I feel like you should do a rescue, And
Aw.
so look,
And you're like, "I feel like it too. I feel like it too. Tell
I
George."
know. But again, patience. That took like a year, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
there
yeah.
was no forcing it, like because that's not what it's
No.
about.
Yeah.
And just like you and Vinny and Zoe and George, and honestly, the unsung hero in the background is my husband, who would love to
Yeah.
join the business. Those
Yeah.
relationships with your, inside the house, and you're all looking out for each other. I mean, that's where we honestly connect. We go out to
Yeah.
dinner with them
Yeah.
and we're talking about how we're gonna, take over, what our next big business venture is. Like I love that. I think it's
It's awesome.
yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah.
It's funny because I can remember the first time that you were invited to do a George to the Rescue, and I remember I was still in the business a
And I
little
was
bit
like,
at that point.
help me,
Yeah, you're
please
like,
help.
"Would you guys
Yeah.
help me?" I'm like, "Yep." I'm like, and I wasn't doing things then, but I was still in the business, and I was like, "Yep, we'll get Kimberly on it. She'll work on it. She'll figure it out with you." And now, as we're recording, you
Right.
just had another
Just
George
had
to the
another
Rescue
one.
come out that Window Works was involved with, and this time we got screen time. Our team got
Which
screen time.
I was so excited about that because you guys,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
deserve it, and
It was fun.
there
It
has
was fun.
never,
Everybody's excited.
to WindowWorks credit, there is never a no on that, right?
Yeah,
How can we
yeah,
help? Sure, we're in. No questions
yeah.
asked. And
I just know how critical it is to a
yeah,
designer. You have so many balls in the air, and you don't need one of your longtime trusted partners coming in with qualifications on the help.
right.
It's just like, I remember the first time Kim was like, "Well, is there a limit? What will we do or not do?" I'm like, "We will do whatever Campbell needs us to do.
Oh,
That's what we will
no,
do."
it's great.
You know what I
It's
mean?
great.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've taken that approach with Kips Bay, with Hampton Show House, with the New Jersey Mansion in May, because you cannot, like, I know how I would feel. I know how I have felt when I've spent $25,000 to redecorate the showroom for the 16th time in 42 years. And you like have companies that you've ordered from for all these years. You're like, "Can I get 3 yards of fabric for a valance?" They're like at 50 off or 20 off. I'm like, my God, like, really? Like, and of course, you don't always think because almost all of them do the same
Right.
policy. But like, I hate that feeling. And
I
so
know.
that's why. And Vinny wasn't always on board with that from the beginning. He really wasn't. He would look at me and be like, "Do you really think we need to do it no charge? Do you really think we?" I'd be like, "I really do." You know what I mean? And there weren't a lot of things I had to hammer on in our years together in this business. I'm going to tell you, but anything having to do with designers, it was like, my lane, go
I
away.
love it.
I will do
You're like,
this.
I know what I am doing.
That's
Which is
it.
true, because look at you now, and look at this thing you've dreamed up into fruition,
Mm.
But
But it's funny because he always wants to try and be like, "Well, maybe they had a little skin in the game." I'm like, "They have a lot of skin in the game. They're trying to keep all the skin standing for crying out loud. Stop it."
but now Billy and Kim are on TV, so I think that's a
That's
big
right.
deal.
And also, too, I can remember because our guys go out in window work shirts every day. They have shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, jackets, all beanie
Mhm.
boppers. They have baseball caps. They have everything. And I remember the first time we did George to the Rescue, you called me and you're like, "They need shirts
See?
with the Window Works
Yes,
name on the
on the
back."
back,
You're like,
because
"On the back."
crazy people like me are taking photos with their phone and writing it
That's it.
down.
That's it. And it was so funny because I was like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Okay, let's order shirts like this." And then it was so funny was when I saw the clip of the recent one, there's Billy putting the shade up with his back to the camera, and there's Window
Yep,
Works big as day.
yep, gotta have your gear. You gotta have
That's
that.
it.
That's great.
It was a great tip. It was a great tip. So, rounding it out, thoughts, observations, feelings, you've come such a good, strong, long way, Campbell. And I know you'll always continue to grow your business better. There's no question. It's in your bones to make your own self better. And therefore, by default, your business and everything surrounding it will. But you're that person that listened 8 years ago, 7 years ago. Like,
Mhm. Constant.
what do you want to?
Y
It's to your younger self, but it's also to that new listener too. What's the message?
Oh, I mean, you know, discipline, right? Just
Mhm.
every day, just doing the hard things. Discipline, dedication, like really at the end of the day, what makes me happy is if my clients are happy. So like, what's that client experience? Like, what do you want them to say about you? How do you want them to say, getting a referral to someone's parents, which has happened several times with me. And
Wow.
most of those parents happen to live at the shore, which is great. But like
Big money.
that's no, but it's just fun, right? They're in a different
Yeah,
phase of
yeah.
their life. They
Yes.
they want to do it right once and that's it. And so
Mhm.
how are you going to leave that lasting impression of an experience with your
Mm.
client? And what's that feeling you're giving them? And
Mm.
Desi taught me that, honestly.
Ah, Desi
So,
Creswell.
what's
Nice.
the feeling? It's like I want people to say Campbell's team is amazing, not just her because it's not about me anymore. Take your ego out of it, right? It's the whole company. They always follow through. They're dedicated. If there's a problem, they fix it because that's there like you said, there are problems all the time. So I want that good vibe, that good feeling out buzzing around in Montclair. We work in Virginia now. My sister is building a house. I think that could be big, right? I want that. That's just, but it's all through discipline and dedication and consistency. Like it's just
Mhm.
basic stuff. So,
Well, it's the basic things that are hard to deliver.
oh yeah,
No, I mean, really, it's the easy things that are the simple things that aren't easy, and they are the foundational things. And I love that when you talk about what is the client experience and how do you want that client to feel and how do you want them to think about you
right.
and your company and your team. I love that you're not like, and send them strawberries and champagne,
No,
like, you
no.
know what I mean, like you might do that too, but that's not even, you don't even go there. It's like the discipline, the dedication,
Yeah,
the
the
calling the
boring
back.
stuff, I hate to say it, but
Yes,
it's not,
it's the truth.
you can be the most wildly talented designer, but if you don't have all of those other things, then no one's gonna refer you
That's right.
anymore. And it's
I
not
know.
sexy, but it's business. It's good business.
Yeah.
And don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, we do send DoorDash certificates
Sure.
at the bottom of the renovation when they're down here and they're like, my house is
Hanging
breaking.
on
And
by a
I'm like,
thread.
here's your free dinner for everybody. So that also helps.
That's right, that's right. No, it's true. I mean, look, in all the decades that I've worked side by side with interior designers on their projects, um, it's noticeable. It's not anything that you ever talk about. It's not anything that I have ever said to a particular designer. But when you work and you do someone's projects for multiple years on end, you do start to notice it becomes the quiet loud when there's never a repeat project or referral from a project.
Yeah.
It is a quiet loud.
Mhm.
Like the person is talented enough to always dig out a new project,
Mhm.
to get a new lead from, maybe doing a show house or a feature or from the Instagram or something. But it was at the beginning of the podcast when I was framing, the deliverables for the podcast. It was with the few designers I've met along the years that I was like, why do these firms rarely, if ever, have repeat clients within their same clients? Because right where we are.
Mhm.
You have a house in Jersey, you have a apartment in the city, you have a house at the Hamptons
Right.
or the Jersey Shore. Like you're not necessarily working for people who don't have multiple locations.
Right.
And so it was always like, why aren't they getting the others? Or
Hmm.
you would do the main level and what happened to the second level? And I just thought, oh, because their process sucks.
Mhm.
I mean,
No
like
one's
it's
loving that.
miserable
Yeah.
doing business with them. Like let's just be serious.
No, I know. And it's no one want I don't want that feeling for anybody. What's the point,
No.
right? Like if that's how it is at this point with how many people on our team who I value dearly, I mean that I might as well just go back to working on my own
Yeah.
if we're not
Yeah.
getting calls and calls and calls and we are. And
Yeah.
I will say this, I have loved like being a boss. I hate to say that word, but I guess I am, right? But
You are. You're the CEO,
I
Miss
love
Campbell.
watching these like individuals grow, learn. I
Mm,
love pushing them. Like I do love that experience. And I don't think
yeah.
everybody in design does. It's okay if you want to
Right.
be, a solo with one other person to help you. But you
1000%.
got to figure out what works for you. And I enjoy
Yeah.
that part of it.
Yeah. And you can grow your business up and then pare it back down again.
Exactly.
You know,
Yes.
you really can. That's
Yes.
the whole thing. I love being self-employed. I get to do what the heck I want.
I know. Flexibility. Oh my God. Yes. I just need my husband. He's like, I just need you to make some more money so I can quit my job. I was like, no.
Okay. You know, the string of designers whose husband has quit their jobs to work in their
Jenny
wives' design firm.
Madden,
Jenny Madden,
Jenny Slingerland, right?
Jenny
Yep.
Slingerland, right? Kristen Scott
Yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the list is long, 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 long,
Well,
long. It is
I
a long,
see why now, right? When you are
yeah.
8 years in and you have multiple projects and you're managing people, sometimes you need someone else to be that person for you. Actually, Corey Damon Jenkins, ran into him
Yes,
last week. His husband's
and
name's
Adam.
Adam. I have an Adam. So, you know what? I saw Corey. It was amazing. We had a little hug. He coached me in the pandemic over Zoom. Like
Oh, did
my
he?
40th birthday, my husband booked time with him for me. I
Oh my
I know,
gosh.
I know. It was like,
Isn't that
yes,
something?
it was amazing.
Yeah,
So anyway,
that is
but I
amazing.
love talking to Adam
Oh, I
because
know.
he was like, "Oh yeah, you're going to be dealing with X, Y, and Z. You need the business manager so you can do
Yeah,
you and do design and work with your, passion projects and get more business, right?" And I
yeah,
was like, "Oh man, I might need to book more
yeah.
time with Corey, or maybe you. Maybe I'm calling
Well,
you."
you can. You can.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because, Corey managed his firm. He did, but it's like Adam
Right.
coming into his life, both personally, and just making him so happy. But then when it was so funny because one time Corey and I were texting. It was one night, I don't know, late at night one night, and I saw that I was on Instagram and I saw that he was in Dubai.
Oh,
And I was like, "What the heck are you doing in Dubai?"
right.
But at the same time, I had literally just got done texting with Fernando from Duke Renders, who was saying to me, "We're headed to Dubai tomorrow." And I'm like, "Wait, what? Worlds colliding, right?" So I texted Corey back and I texted Corey. I'm like, "Buddy, are you like in Dubai, blah, blah, blah?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah." And I said, "Oh, I'd love for you to connect with Fernando from Duke Renders."
Hmm.
I said, "He's an exceptional human. You're going to like him. You're both there. That's crazy pants, yada, yada." Well, he comes back and he tells me, "You know what? Instagram today I'm in Dubai, but I've already moved on. I'm in wherever." And he then outlines for me like the next 10
Mm.
days of, from here to here to here to here, all over the middle and the Far East and whatever it was. And then he said, and I was like, "That's a nuts schedule."
Mhm.
And he said, "Yeah, but like he goes, literally since January 2nd, Adam and I have been in New York like 3 days or whatever.
Wow.
And this is like, February something." And I did not know that Adam had left his job
Oh,
at that point because they were only married. I had seen them in November at their wedding. He might have been gone then. I didn't know it. Like, you don't walk up, "Hey, Adam, what do you do for a living?"
right.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
Like,
right.
I knew he came from finance, right? And I literally just had this pit in my stomach that you are newlyweds. And I get that this is that time of your career, my friend, where you got to put the
Mhm.
pedal to the metal. But like the mom friend in me couldn't not say, you know, "I love all this opportunity for you. I love all this excitement for you." I said, "But you got to take care of you and Adam. Like,
Mm.
you cannot let this string out." And I go, 3 days you've seen him in a month. And he goes, "Oh no, he's my business manager. He's with me." I'm like, "Oh, okay, guy. Yeah, go ahead. You do
That's
you." Like,
awesome. You
okay.
were like,
Yeah.
"Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, light
Okay.
bulb
Yeah.
moment."
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. And the thing is, even last week, I had to call Corey for an opportunity. When I call Corey for an opportunity, I call Adam. "Hey, Adam, I have an
It's
opportunity."
awesome.
When I call to say hello, I say hello, Corey.
Yeah,
But I'm like, "Got an
yeah.
opportunity for you. Want to know what you guys think?" Because you got to get, it's like anything else now. You got to get through Adam. He's the doorkeeper.
No,
You know?
absolutely, and I love those partnerships, right? It's just like the
Yeah.
spouses, they who knows you better and
Yes.
has your best interest at heart, right?
And that's exactly what comes through when you talk with Adam. You
Right,
hear he's analyzing it from a business standpoint because he's super brilliant business
right,
mind. He's analyzing it from a Corey Damon Jenkins business standpoint, not just is it a good opportunity, but is the right opportunity for that firm. And then you hear him going, is this a good place for my Corey to be?
right.
Like,
Love
am
it.
I putting him in this situation? Does that seem? And then of course he talks with Corey. It's not like, he just does whatever.
So great.
But that gatekeeper, like you said, with that total trust and have your back. It's so precious to watch when those of you guys who have done this with your firms, like you said, Matt and Jenny Slingerland and Elma Rose, there's others of you too.
Yeah.
So
I'll be
but
on
it's
that
super
list
fun.
one day.
That's it.
Give me
That's
a
it.
little,
Get
it's
you
my
on that
5-year plan. I'll be there.
That's awesome. Well, my friend, thank you so much. We appreciate you. I appreciate you,
I appreciate
LuAnn
you
to
too.
Campbell. We appreciate you, Window Works to Campbell Minister Designs.
Oh,
I mean,
thank
really,
you.
you're just
Thank
a
you
great
guys so much.
partner for
You
us.
your Window Works, God, taught me everything I know. Seriously. So thank you. Thank you so much. And the podcast. So it's so cool to see two of those functioning side by side,
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
thank you.
I have to say, I have so much admiration for you, Campbell, the way you navigate speed bumps in your business. It's so easy to put the blame on the client or the vendors or the circumstances that got out of our control when we face challenges. And there are things that go wrong that we can't account for. But how we respond to those challenges shows who we are as individuals and business owners. And you rise to that every single time. For Campbell, the answer isn't to hedge around it or place blame or take the easy way out. She gets out in front. She makes that phone call. She explains the situation and she takes responsibility. And this approach earns trust and respect. Credibility doesn't come from never making mistakes or from having flawless projects. It comes from showing up and, navigating yourself, your client, your team through those mistakes. When your clients see that, it proves who you are. It shows that dedication and discipline, the dedication and discipline that Campbell believes in so strongly. And that's what brings those referrals. It's what keeps your clients coming back, and it's how you build a rock solid reputation. We get so caught up in the luxury experience and all the fluff that we think defines that experience that we sometimes miss out on what the experience is really about. The basics that matter so much but are so easy to overlook. How to communicate, how to show up when something goes wrong, how to take responsibility, how to be a human who listens and builds relationships and executes on what you said you would do. That's the real luxury experience, not the thank you gifts or the champagne. These touches are wonderful. They are probably part of should be a should do. But if that's what you're doing and you're not doing the other basic foundational pieces, they don't mean anything. I mean, who wants champagne and strawberries when the whole thing has been uncomfortable, unhappy, and miserable all the way throughout? Nobody. The champagne and strawberries are supposed to be the icing on a beautiful experience, not the in place of all the nonsense that went wrong, right? There's another little nuance here I want to touch back on. Something that Campbell said that I want you to reflect on when we were discussing working with friends. When we were discussing the importance of maintaining the process, even when our friends are involved, she said, I think that honestly, they respect our friendship more because I don't treat them like a friend when we're working together, right? That's important to remember in these situations. I can remember way back in the day, Sandra Funk coming on to the podcast and saying how when she was working with a friend, everything was going wrong. And then she realized that she let the friend in the back door, that the friend had bypassed the systems that she had set up at the front of house for all of her clients, thinking, oh, you're my friend. She did it once. It didn't work once. And every single time since then, everybody comes through the front door because she wants everybody, just like Campbell does, to get that same wonderful experience that you've taken the time to curate and put together the way you want it to go, right? It's important to remember in these situations that if a friend is hiring you, they are hiring you because they want your skill, your talent, your professionalism. They don't want you to phone it in. They don't want a less than experience. They've probably learned about your business through your conversations and having mutual friends and other acquaintances, and they're like, I want that. And then when we change it because we're like, oh, it's my friend, then they actually can experience disappointment, right? And what Campbell is saying is that the way you conduct the process reflects the value of the relationship. You're not doing anybody any favors when you approach projects with friends differently. That would be setting up a dynamic that doesn't give your friends the respect, and it certainly doesn't set you up for the level of respect that you need to establish in order to lead the project. Okay? Finally, I want to touch on the way that Campbell and this group of core designers in her circle interact with each other. I know a lot of these men and women, they are terrific. It is something that we've talked about on the show before, having a collaborative spirit and building strong relationships with the designers in your area. Okay. Campbell mentioned that some designers don't want to share or refer or create pods. I mean, there might be reasons why. I don't know. She doesn't get it. I don't get it either. But for the most part, these relationships that you form, yes, it's good to have besties. You're in California, they're in New Jersey. That's great. Pick the brain, do all the things. But like this group of men and women in one town, Montclair, and some of the surrounding areas, South Orange and Livingston and so forth, it's so helpful when you're, interviewing or on a consultation with a prospective client, and you're like, not my project, not my people, not my project, not my cup of tea. But you can say, you're a great person. This is a great project, just not for me. Here's my good friend, XYZ. I mean, that being able to do that, just, it uplifts everybody. Right? I do it all the time. People call, they email and think, I want to talk to LuAnn about being a chairman of the board with her. And we get on the phone and we chit chat. And if it feels like a great fit and your problem is a problem that I can work through and it's in my wheelhouse, great. But if it's not, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to introduce you to Michelle Williams. You know what? I'm going to introduce you to Sandra Funk, and I think you should do the standard. I'm going to introduce you to Nancy Ganskaufer or Tracy Connell or any of the other dozen of business consultants in the industry that, quote unquote, are competition. No. We all have our strengths. And I lead by example. I bring everybody in. I get to know them all. I let them know what my superpowers are. I get to know what theirs are. And when you have a problem, if I'm not the answer, I'm sending you to somebody else. And when you have that in your own network of designers, that's gold. It's gold. And even if you just need help sometimes, how do you find them? How do you find them? Okay? You should join Interior Design Society. Find out if there's a chapter near you. You should join ASID. Find out if there's a chapter near you. You should go to the different events that like Schwartz Design Show will have here in New Jersey, or East End Interiors will have in Long Island. I'm sure Cozy Stylish Chic has them in Pasadena. When you have the opportunity to go to a designer event that's business facing for you as a community, that's when you meet your buddies. That's how you do it. All right. So I just love Campbell's perspective on all of this. And like I said, to think about that conversation that I had with you, Campbell, 8 years ago, and the conversations that I get to have with you now in passing when you're doing your projects with Window Works here and there, the growth, the trajectory, your confidence, your ability, your process, everything. It's so completely apparent. And I applaud you for it because it's not easy to do. And you've done the hard work, my friend. I appreciate you for doing that. All righty. So thank you for listening today. I'm going to tell you something. If you're enjoying the show, share it with a designer bestie. Share it with somebody. Tell them about it. Let them know. If it's been 100 years and you haven't thought about it, of ever leaving me a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen, Spotify, I appreciate them. I do read them. I'm a garden variety human that likes a pat on the back or likes a suggestion. If you want to share some feedback with me, I'm open to it. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. Decide to be excellent. Thank you for joining me today. This podcast is a production of LuAnn Nigara, Inc. If you want to know more about me, my books, or LuAnn University, go to LuAnnNigara.com. And if you are interested in having Window Works help you with your next window treatment or awning project in the New York, New Jersey metro area, go to WindowWorksNJ.com to learn more. Have an excellent day.